This is Hazel Jane Case Thompson, also known as Nano, being interviewed by granddaughter Laura Thompson in July 1984 in Nano's home in Torrance, California. Nano was 91 years old and Laura was 27 at the time of this interview. Nano died when she was 96 years old. The hard work of transcribing this interview with Nano into subtitles was completed with thanks to Laura Brewer, the same person, of course, conducting this interview.
Okay. When you were born? What year? What was the date?
1893, September the 13th,
Okay.
1893.
And what was your mother's name?
Effie McManaway.
Okay. And your father?
Henry William Case.
Case.
Uh-huh.
Okay. How old was your mother when you were born? Do you know?
I kind of have to figure that out because I was the fifth one that was born. There was 4 boys born before me.
Mm-hmm.
I was the first girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say she was 18 when she was married, and she had the 4 boys, and she had me.
So in her late 20s or middle 20s?
Well, it would be, you think about every 14, 15 months she had a baby, because there's 14 of us, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you figure. Now, say she was 19 when the first one was born.
Mm-hmm.
And the fifth one would be at least 10 years later, say 10 years later,
Mm-hmm.
9 or 10 years later.
What was the first boy's name?
Clifford. Charles Clifford.
Charles Clifford.
Uh-huh.
And what did he actually do in his life? What did he do after he left home?
Well, he left home and he wanted to kind of go out for himself, and he went to Washington. So then left the family. He stayed away several years, and he came back again. And after that, he stayed on the farm.
Mm-hmm.
After that.
Did he own the farm after that, or did he?
No, he stayed at home, at our home.
What was your father's feeling about, like, passing things on to your son, his firstborn son, or anything like that?
No, he never thought much about it because he lived on a farm. We lived on a farm until I was married. I lived on the farm, you know. Mm-hmm. He was always on a farm. And so
he went to Washington, D.C.?
No, Washington State.
Washington State. What did he do when he was there?
He worked. I don't know what he did. I know he worked there.
Mm-hmm. What were you doing when you were a little girl?
Well, we played together, you know. I had the 4 brothers older than I was, and I tried to act as like a boy, you know. And I'd climb up in the haymow, and they'd say, jump out the window, and I'd jump. And then I just about killed myself. I jumped. But they thought that was fun, you know.
Is this in the barn? Or
in the barn. And they called the haymow. We had a lot of hay, but there's a big old window out there. And we could stand in there and look out. And they'd say, jump. And I jumped. Because I put my legs up in my top.
Oh, no. And what else did you do when you were playing with your brothers and sisters?
Well, one thing that'd be interesting, the reason why we moved from Ohio, because we had a big farm there, and we had a very good farm in Ohio. And my sister was out, her name was Laura, and she was out, and there was hay sticking out the cracks of the haymow, you know, where they call it the haymow, because where they take the hay for the winter for the horses. And she said, pick more cooks and beans, and she picked them that hay, and that's what burned our barn down.
Oh, no.
So
you didn't rebuild? They didn't rebuild?
We didn't rebuild, and my father went from Ohio to Michigan, and he left us all home, back on the farm, and he was gone in probably a couple of weeks, and got the place in Michigan for us, got the farm.
What did he do? Oh, he bought a farm there?
Yeah, that's a farm. Mm-hmm.
Was he a farmer?
He was a farmer.
What did he raise?
He raised potatoes and corn and hay and old save, all kinds of things, just general farming, you know.
What kind of animals did you have on the farm?
We had everything. We had horses and cows and pigs and goats and everything else. chickens, anything you could think of the farm as we had.
So being the oldest daughter, what did that do for your life? How come?
Well, it was hard because there's so many children born after me, and I had to take after I got old enough to take care of kids at all, I had to start. I always had to sleep with one because there was always another one born.
How many were in your bed at the same time?
Well, sometimes 3 or 4.
In a double-sized bed?
Double-sized bed, yeah. And when the baby was born, I'd always have to take the one that was a little bit older than one that was born. I had to take that one and sleep with it. And because I had to take care of it at night. When I woke up at night, I'd have to get up and take care of it. So my mother said I never should have any children because I had to take care of so many at home.
Did you like your mother?
Oh, she was a wonderful person.
Tell me anything about her.
Oh, she was darling. She had beautiful black curly hair, and she was a beautiful person. She was a little short one, just very small.
What color eyes did she have?
She had dark brown eyes and black hair.
Well, how did she feel? I mean, she was always pregnant, right?
That's all this time. She said if my dad hung his pants on the foot of bed, he was pregnant. No. And she made our clothes. She set up at night to make our clothes. And when my dad would buy a whole boat of material, and she'd make me girls' dresses all the same.
All the same color.
We'd have the same color dresses. And then he brought home a great big old boat of pink outing flannel. And we all had dresses made of that. Couldn't imagine what we loved that.
How did the boys feel about pink?
Oh, I guess they didn't care if it was pink or what it was, so they got something. But then we moved in from Ohio to Michigan when I was 9 years old, and we moved the horses.
How did you move?
They loaded the horses and everything, all our furniture.
And buggy or?
No, in a box car.
Oh, in a box car.
In a box car, they called it that time. And you see.
So you took a train.
And the family, my mother and the kids, except my older brother, 2 older brothers, came in the box car with the horses to take care of them on the way to Michigan. But the rest of the family was with my mother in the train. And my father met us there when we got to Michigan. He met us at the train and took us there. He had a nice house that he bought, and we moved in. We all slept on the floor. So they had no bed.
Well, did you sell the house did your father sell the house in Ohio?
Yeah, we sold that property. Yeah, we sold that property. That's when we moved. But I know, and Carl remembers when we first come to Michigan, all these kids, and of course he had a bunch of kids come, He was just a kid.
Oh, remember?
Yeah, he remembers.
Because he was a neighbor friend?
He had the farm next to our farm.
I hope I'm doing this right. Oh, he had the farm next to your farm?
Yeah, And because we were neighbors and we went to school there. So, I said, I've had a long, then I stayed on that farm, and until Carl was engaged, got married. I was 18, he was 21.
So he was in the farm next to you.
Yeah.
So where did you go to school? Did you go to school nearby?
We walked 2 miles to Lisa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see. When you went, okay, we have to talk about Cecil.
Well, I tell you what I ought to tell you. It's about our trip from Michigan
to California. I know. Yes, let's talk about that.
Well, we should have done that before now. Because the kids were all little then,
Okay, well, let's go ahead. That's all right. That's all right.
We decided that Carl's mother moved to California, and she wanted us to come to California.
Why did she move?
She moved because she was married to another man. And she had a daughter that lived here. Lived on 69th Street. And so she wanted us to come out to California. But she just wanted us, She was awful close to Carl because he was always so nice to her, you know. Give me that pillow with my neck's up, brother. Johnny made that for me.
That's cute.
Up there. So my dad had a Model T Ford, and so we bought that Model T Ford.
How much?
$400. Because it was a used car, you know, and it was pretty good shape. And
What year was it?
we come to California.
No, what year was the car? Do you remember? Yeah.
I don't remember because
That's all right.
yeah, because she came and we come to California in 19. Teresa was born in 1920. About 1922 we came to California because she was 19 months old when we came here. So it must have been about 1900 how the car was.
Was the only reason you came to California was because of Carl's mother?
Carl's mother and his
That's
sister.
the only reason?
And his sister. That's why we came to California. They wanted us to come. They thought it was such a beautiful place and everything, and we didn't have nothing to hold us there. Carl was just working in a automobile factory there, and he worked at the Ford company for a long time. Then he finally went to Wilson Body Company. He worked in the Wilson Body Company. He was making $5 an hour. That was pretty good for them days, you know. We got along one time. So we got this old car from my dad. It must have been about 1918. That's what that car was. Because we came out here in 1920. So we got fixed up, and we fixed the bed in the car over on the top of the seat. We put some things across the top of the seat, two-seated and Model T, and we put slabs across there, and then we fixed the bed up there. And Carl and I slept up there, and the kids slept down on the car seats. And Lisa slept up there too. Carl and Lisa slept up on and the two boys slept down on the car seats. We came to California, and that old Model T Ford was all gravel, nothing but gravel. It was in August, so that real hot weather. And had nothing but just gravel roads, no paved streets.
I bet you had lots of flat tires.
We had several flat tires, and we cooked our meals all the way across. We slept in that car. All of us 18 days to get here. And we'd stop. And
what route did you go through?
They call it 66. That's 66.
Route 66.
66.
That's a famous route for coming to California in history books.
Is it?
Oh, famous.
That's a road.
Many people took that road.
That's a road.
Did you find many people along the road?
Yes, and people were lovely.
People were coming to California?
They were coming to California, somewhere close to California, and they were all just, everybody was just lovely people. We helped each other, you know. And we come to a farmhouse, and we stop and get our milk and eggs and things that we needed to cook for the kids, you know. And Lisa was just a baby, and she slept nearly all the way. And we had to have fresh up for her, you know, for the boys. And and she was still in diapers. I'd change her diaper, and I'd hang them on the side of the car, and then I'd blow in the wind to dry. No. The way we come.
No, it's practical.
The way we come. And it was hard because I had no way of washing them on just in a wash pan, you know. I'd heat water at night. We had a camp stove. We burned butane gas in the camp stove. I'd heat the water and wash them all and get them all cleaned up for bed, stick them in bed. And one night, we were all in bed as nice as could be, and here we heard a howling dog, and a dog was after a coyote. And that coyote running crawled right underneath our car. It was under the car, and that old dog was still after him, just a howling. And frightened us to death, you know. We didn't know what was going to happen. But he finally got out. The dog didn't get him. He got out of there, and away they went. And one day we were driving along, we seen I guess it must have been I went with a beaver or a skunk, or I don't know what it was. and Carl decided he was going to catch him. And he started running, and I grabbed the hatchet. And he would run, and the old beaver or whatever it was would keep running, and then I was fine as long as it was going. But when I turned around to fight Carl, I run back to Carl. So I never did get the hatchet to him so he could kill him. But I was fine as long as it was going the other way. But when it was coming back towards me, I was ready to quit. Oh, dear. I was thinking about how silly we were. But we only had $400 when we started from Michigan. We had $400, and we put that. We had a box camera, and we put that money, a lot of money we had, in that box camera. And first we'd be going to eat. We had to be in a restaurant.
What are you saying? Box camera?
Box camera, little just like a box. They called it a box camera then. We took good pictures. And
you'd keep the money
inside there. And we took it one day in with us, and then we were going to stop, get some little something to eat. I don't really know what we had, but we took that in with us, and we went out and left it sitting there. And that was all the money we had. So we went a little ways, and we missed it. So we had to go back and get it. And it was still there.
It was still there.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you're so lucky.
We were so lucky. Well, we were lucky all the way across.
Could you imagine if you wouldn't have gotten that?
You wouldn't have had any money at all.
You wouldn't have been able to go on.
So we wouldn't have no money to buy gas or anything. We were just fortunate that.
Oh.
And then one night Charles said,
where was that happened?
In Wyoming.
In Wyoming.
Yeah, in Wyoming that happened. And one night we went, we stopped somewhere, and then we got a place to sleep. We were supposed to sleep in the car, and it was raining, it was awful bad weather. So we were going to sleep inside that night. And Tom took his money, and how much money he had, and put it in a purse, and put it under his pillow. And got up in the morning, and went down the road, and he didn't have his purse. He left it down under his pillow. And we went back, and it was still there. The maid had found it, and gave it to us. So we were lucky. Things like that would happen to me. I guess the Lord was taking care of us.
Of course.
So they just had been on the road back there for 18 days and cooked their own. And one morning, this is funny, we were going to have our breakfast before we started, and I had fixed a nice breakfast for us. And just about the time we got ready to eat, there's an old farmer driving his cows down the road. And I think every Friday was on those cars stopped and got on our breakfast. It was a mess. We couldn't eat. It was a breakfast pies. It was terrible. No. So we didn't have any breakfast that morning. Oh, no. And one morning, we was getting ready to eat, and piece of spilled potatoes all over the ground. We were just out of frying pan.
What would you eat? You were eating potatoes for breakfast?
We'd fry potatoes and eggs, anything they happen to have, It's almost unbelievable.
No.
The way we got across.
I think it's amazing.
And we landed in San Bernardino. That was our first really stop.
San Bernardino?
San Bernardino.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day, we were supposed to be in Los Angeles, and we'd be at his mother's and sister's house. And I wanted the kids to look nice, So I cleaned them all up, some business, clean, and dressed them up as much as I could. And when we landed at their face, they looked real good. Of course, they were glad to see us come, So somebody said, hoo-hoo. But it seemed like, when I think about it now, I don't know how I said it, but I was young. Yeah, I was only 27. So that's pretty young. I was about their age. We came across there. I think your dad's got one picture that's good. It's on Benji sitting on the car. And
oh, yeah, I've seen that picture.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, where he's sitting on the car and people standing next to him.
Yeah, he's like 4-0, sitting on the car. And then he
was only like 6 years old?
He was,
yeah, he was 6.
Yeah, so he was 6. He's a lesson by 2.
Mm-hmm. And
That's
Cecil
right.
was 7.
And Cecil was 7. Sorry, would have been 8.
8.
He would have been 8, and see, his birthday is Jack. He was just 8 because his birthday was in 28th of July, and this is August.
Then what did you do when you got to California? You lived with your mother, the mother-in-law, or
we borrowed $500 from our mother, and we bought a little place on 69th Street, a little house.
you bought a house?
We bought a house.
You were fortunate that you had enough money to do that.
Well,
many people moving
to
California.
We borrowed it from house mother. And we borrowed $500, and we made a payment down on the house. And it wasn't much of a house, just kind of a shell. And then Tom fixed that up, you know. He worked on it, and every night we get home.
What street was this?
On 69th Street in Los Angeles. And every night when he got home, he'd work on that place. He'd built, added on to, made a porch onto it, and fixed it up with this kind of a shell, you know.
What area would that be in Los Angeles now?
69th and San Pedro.
San Pedro.
That's where it was, 69th and San
Not a very good area right now.
No, it wasn't very good area.
Not now, anyway.
No, it was. Well, there was nice neighbors there. They were nice people.
Right, but I mean now it's not a good area. Then it was.
Yeah, then it was as good as any of them. Yeah, that's a long time ago. From 1927.
1927?
Yeah. Well, no, we landed here in, Lisa was, she's born in 1920, about 22. 22. Yeah, it's been that long ago since we landed there.
And then you lived there. What does Carl do? Started doing right away?
He got a job at Lassing. Putting Lassing houses, you know.
Had he ever done anything like that before?
Never had done anything like that. But somebody hired him, and he started Lassing houses, and he made good wages anyway.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything to the kids.
Didn't do anything, huh? That's right.
I just took care of the kids, you know, and kept up the home there. And we had when we bought the place, in the front of the yard, they had raised sweet potatoes. They had big old sweet potato patch in the front yard. And so, nothing, I think we got a couple of pictures of it to show the kids out in the yard. It's funny now when I think about it. Oh, I survived, but I did.
Sure.
It was fun. Good life. Then we went from that place on 69th Street, and we bought a place on the 109th place. You remember that one, don't you? You know that one?
No.
That was just a shell. And Carl finished that up, too. And made a real nice little place out of it.
And probably 16, 20? No.
Well, not just crazy. They had just got married. What year did they get married? They had only, Carl was born in that house.
Look that up, Laura.
Yeah, Carl was born in that, when we lived in that house on 82nd Street, Carl was born. And he went to the hospital. But they did it after we built that house, your mother and dad did with it, you know.
Go back to Cecil. Cecil died when he was 14.
He was 14 years old, but he didn't die until later.
When?
He was 14 and a half when he died.
14 and a half.
Yeah. So your dad, he couldn't have been over, he's about 19 months younger than Cecil.
I see.
So, we lived on 109th Street when Cecil died. And then Cecil had a room of their own. That's when we only had the 2 bedrooms, and Lisa slept in the clothes closet.
In the clothes closet?
I made a bed for her in the clothes closet, because we didn't have just the 2 bedrooms, you know. And the boys had one, and I used to make a bed in the clothes closet for her. It was just a very small house on 109th Place.
When Cecil got sick, did you know he was sick right away, or?
Well, one night he was lying on his couch like this. And he said he had stomachache, you know. And he stretched out, he's a big boy. He was almost 6 foot when he died. And he said, and I said to Carl, I said, isn't he getting tall? I think he's going to be 6 foot tall. But I didn't think he'd get any taller. And sure enough, he didn't. Next day, in the morning, he came and got out of bed, And he said he had his stomach was hurting him, but it was his candy. But and I, like a fool, rubbed him, and I think I gave him the dose of
Absolutely.
so he would look there. I thought maybe he needed to put on it, And it was the wrong thing to do. And
you didn't know?
No, I didn't know.
No way to know that.
That he started to have a temperature, so we called the doctor. And his appendix had already bursted. So we took him right to the hospital. And he was just there 3 days and he was gone. That's quick. That was hard.
I bet.
And Benji felt so bad because, they were so close together.
Close.
I know one night I found him in his bed, kneeling down by his bed, praying that Cecil would live. He was in the hospital. But they were pretty close together, they loved each other. So, too bad Cecil couldn't live. First, maybe if he'd lived, something else would have happened. He had a bit of war. It was just before that war started, And, the next war, the number 2 war, and he would have had to win that war, and he might have been suffered, and he might have married, not been happy. Things like that happen. You have to finish. You have to finish all to the death.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
That must have been very hard for you and Carl.
Oh, it was terrible.
Carl's firstborn son.
Yeah. His birthday is on the 28th of January, and Carl's the 29th. So, Carl would, if he would have lived, he was going to be 74 years old. 94 years old if he would have lived up until this coming January. July. Well, July's just coming up this month. His birthday is 29th.
Okay, so it's July 29th.
Mm-hmm.
And it was July 28th was Carl's birthday? Cecil's birthday?
He was the birthday present. Come today early for his house birthday. Well, anyway, I've had a good life. I think about back. I did have hardships, but I didn't seem to mind them. It was life. You don't mind as long as you got your family and their love. Love does a lot for you in the home.
Right. Then after, let's see, you were living in L.A. and then you decided somewhere along the road to move to the San Fernando Valley. Is that right?
We moved from 109th place and we bought a lot out in San Fernando Valley. We went out there. We bought 2 1/5 acres out there, and then we built a house out there
on Sherman Way.
Sherman Way. Mm-hmm. So we did that.
What year probably was that?
Oh dear.
I know. I always ask you that question.
It's kind of hard.
I'm sure.
Just what years was. Oh, I know. Benji he was in service. It was about 1940 something. When did he come home?
I'll find out.
We bought that house while he was in the service. I bought the house because we bought the land. And we built the house while he was in the service. And he helped build it with some help. You have help too. But he worked in town in Los Angeles. At night we would drive out there to that place in the valley and work on the house and plant trees. And we had Brownie with us then too, just a baby. So Brownie's 44 years old. She's 44 years now. Old now. So you can tell about how that was about she's 44 years old.
1936. 1936.
Must have been 1936, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. That's when we bought the house in the valley. We bought the lot and we built the house.
Uh-huh.
So we would drive from there after Carl worked all day long, and we'd drive out there at night. And
that was a long ways to go out at night.
There was no freeway.
Yeah.
It was the boulevard. It was not even paved. And before the freeway, anything was we go.
What was out there at that time?
There was a big house on the corner right next to us there on Sherman Way. The people had a big old dog on that. That was different from the Doberman Pincher. Mm-hmm. No. And we were scared to death him. But there's a lady and her mother lived there. But they were lovely people. And the place we bought was just nothing but just a bean patch. Then we built the house there. And we lived there, and then finally came along, and they wanted our place, because they wanted to move the house, because they were dividing the street on some way there. And we sold our house, and then we moved.
You moved the house?
We didn't sell it. We moved over on Balcony Street now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I remember I think they paid us $35,000, and we thought that was an awful lot of money. That wasn't really,
just to move your property.
Yes,
well, and buy that part of that property.
Yes. We had that out over there.
But now, part of that time, you had given some property to Mom and Dad, right?
On Gulf Street.
Mm-hmm.
We had given them enough to build they had a pretty good sized place there. And that's probably an acre that they had there. We gave them that property, and they built a house on Gulf Street. Mm-hmm.
And then you moved to Balcom Street. Now, you lived there, but then you traveled back and forth wherever Carl was working.
Wherever he was working. We go to Long Beach, we go to Pine Beach, and
would you live in motels when he was working down there?
We lived in motels, our lighthouse sleeping rooms, we have. We would move into. And I usually went with him until the kids got so big and older, that I couldn't take them away from school,
Mm-hmm.
And I would have to stay home with him. He would go alone, live alone, and come home just weekends. Because he usually had to work too far away to come home every night.
Mm-hmm.
But then we went to the Grand Canyon. He worked there quite a while. Benji went with us when he worked there. He worked with his dad there, the Grand Canyon. And Bishop was 17 years old then.
What was he doing at the Grand Canyon, working?
What was he doing?
Installation.
He worked in installation work.
Building cabins, or?
Well, their cabins were already built, but
they were insulated.
They had these pipes, and then Tom and Benji would insulate those pipes for hot water, and cold water, however they did. So
on the north side, or do you remember?
We were on the south side.
On the south side.
How
long were you there?
Well, we were there, probably a year. We was with us. And Benji did you ever see about walking down into the Grand Canyon, down swimming in the Colorado River?
No.
So he walked there, and he went way down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon one day. And they had mules, that they would ride down, but he walked down that. They walked the way down to the Colorado River, and that's a long walk.
Yeah. It's a mile long.
It's a long walk.
It's a mile down.
And then they had the Quebec was all uphill, That was a place that, I didn't tell you about that sometime.
I will.
I'm walking down there.
I will.
And every night, we lived in the cabin there, and the sun would be sunset, beautiful sunsets there. By the time the sunset, you see everybody rushing to the edge of the canyon to see the sunset. It was beautiful. There was a nice place to live. And the deer would come up, eat out of your hands. The one deer stationer used to come every night, and the kids would hold their hand out with food, and they would eat out with them. At least it was 13 years old then. He liked it. He liked it. Yeah, he feeding those deer.
This is how we're doing. How many, let's see, you said you had 4 boys ahead of you.
I was the first girl.
And then how many girls?
There was 4 boys, 4 girls, a boy, 4 girls. Now, I'm not even see. There was, I'm the shot in the boys. There was Clifford, and Roy, and Clinton, and Benji, then me. And then after me, there was Steve, Paula, Laura, Beta, Phoebe, and then there's another boy. Then there was another boy, and then a girl.
Who was the other boy? What was her name?
Spencer.
And what was the girl's name?
The youngest one is Grace. Ada Grace.
Out of all your brothers and sisters, what was your favorite brother and sister? Brother or sister?
Well, I think my one I was with more than anybody else was Ben. Because he and I was the closest in age.
Is that why you named Benji Ben? Where did you get Cecil's name?
My Carl's sister had a boy named Cecil. And I liked the name, so we just called my boy just Cecil.
And where did you get Aletha's name?
Carl named her, and he just took it out of nowhere. He had a niece that was Althea. And so he said, let's call her Lisa. I mean, we'd never heard it before, so we just called her Lisa.
Tampa wrote many poems all throughout his life.
Did you give us the book?
I have one.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever write any poems or anything?
I'm not poetic.
But he did.
Yeah,
many times. He wrote many poems.
Oh, he did. And good ones.
He would write you poems.
Oh, I've got them. I don't think you ever read it. See, which Bible is that in?
The last one? I read the last one.
In my life?
The last one that he wrote? That you found after he died?
Let me see. I think I did.
Because I read that one.
No. It's funny. It says to my wife. I don't think which one came. I'm looking at this old one back there.
In here already?
I was looking at it just the other day. Here's the old time Bible here.
Oh, that is an old Bible. Wait, were you Methodist?
We were Methodist. Well, we were really, my folks went to a Lutheran church when we were on farm. And then he went to, we were Methodist for a long time. Trinity Methodist Church, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then we finally went to the Baptist church. Here's Cecil Carl. He died.
January 1st. He died January 1st?
1929.
Oh, my.
There he is, playing with the bees. Is this the closing generation? Something that God had written. Predestination, adoption, a divine act of God through the redemption of our body. And he's got scriptures running down there. Mm-hmm. He was an awfully good Christian.
He was.
It's not in here either.
Hazel. Is this it?
What is that?
Hazel, you asked me why tears come in my eyes when I ask God's blessing on our food. I will try to answer truthfully. It's because I have been such a failure. I am a Christian. I know I have been born again. But I am supposed to be a witness. I feel that I failed to be a good witness. I am supposed to be the head of our house. In this I have failed completely. My life is slowly drawing to close, and I feel so unworthy. I almost feel that I am such a failure. I am not fit to ask the Lord for help, and yet I know He is the only one that can help. These tears always dry up and turn to tears of joy when I think of the grace of God and the hope and assurance of the future. Bye.
And this is what's written here.
That's that one.
Oh, no, that one.
It says, Aletha, ask me what I like to do. I must confess I don't do things such as go to movie shows. I would rather go to church. I like to go to a good restaurant, but not to a dark saloon where they still sell liquor and food, because my Bible says we are to come out from among them, that we are a separate people, that this is a wide way and not a narrow way. And a narrow way. I think that we had better wake up and take a stand against sin of all kinds.
Yeah, he was pretty
a very religious
Oh,
man.
yes,
Very.
it's not in here. I must be in other one there somewhere. I was just looking at the other day, but I stick things around and I figure where I put them.
How did the depression affect you?
Depression?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that was hard. We had to in our house. We had two houses on 109th Place at that time. And so we couldn't make the payments on it because Carl didn't have any work. So we rented those houses and we went into an apartment where I took care of the apartments for our rent. And Carl to do anything he could find to do. Sometimes he'd go out and he'd have to wash dishes or something like that. But we got our board and our room from me taking care of those apartments. Mm. And we couldn't make payments on our house. All we could do was just pay the interest of what we used to pay. So we kept doing that enough to save our houses. We didn't have to sell them. But it was pretty hard through the Depression.
But you kept both of the houses through them?
We kept both houses on them. So then we sold them later on. I don't know how I done with that. This is from Jerry Falwell. You know Jerry Falwell? Mm-hmm. I know what we thought I should put things where I know where they are. But I don't. This is such fine print in this Bible.
It's hard to read.
Do you know anybody that needs the Bible?
No, we all have Bibles.
You know, I have three here, and one is all I need. If I knew somebody that needed them, I'd be glad to give them away. I can't find it. And then we have to wrote me an awful nice poem to my wife.
How do you spell Cecil's name?
C-E-C-I-L.
Okay, let's see. What else do we have? Oh, are you tired?
I'm not very.
I am.
I bet you are.
Why?
You got 6 classes for what's today on the rest of them?
No. What time is it? It's almost 5 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
So, I think I'll call now. What time will Elisa be coming? About 5:30?
About 5:30.
Okay, let's see how we can do it. Let's see. Wait it out. Well, let's move up a little bit. You moved from, let's see, Tampa retired.
68 years old.
68. And then, you moved soon after that from Balcom Street. Is that right? Or when did you move from Balcom Street to Encinitas?
Well, we moved to Encinitas. See, we lived in Encinitas 10 years. And we lived here 10 years, and that's 20 years ago. About 1971 or 2, we moved to Encinitas. Mm-hmm. 60. Because that's 20 years ago, it'd be 60 when it's 60 now.
64?
About 62 or 64 years ago, we moved to Encinitas. See, we were quite young yet, and we built that house, and we had the house built, and Carl helped on it, you know. Mm-hmm. And we moved down to Encinitas.
That was a beautiful house, so close to the beach.
I loved it there. If Carl would have been put to jail, we would have lived there, but they got too... Well, he got sick, had to go to the hospital, and so far for the kids to come.
When he got sick the first time, what was wrong?
Gallbladder.
He had to have gallbladder surgery?
Had to have gallbladder operation.
Did he have it out?
Had it all. And it never did heal right. And then after several years, it always hurt him. Kept bothering him, and he... had to go back and have surgery again. They cut him in there again and made another incision. and they thought that would help. But his stomach never was right after that operation. So I don't know whether they didn't do it right or what happened, but he never was really very well after he was operated on. It always seemed like he was always, when you come near him, he always put his hands up. You'll notice that here. It always seemed to hurt him. And that's what he did when he was sick here at home. He says, rub my stomach. He says, it feels so good. There's something in there bothering me. Linda and I were just talking about that the other day. We just wonder there was something in there, something that wasn't right. I never did ask the doctor, but I thought it was just as well I don't know. Maybe he wouldn't have told me anyway, and maybe the doctor didn't know. Maybe. But his stomach was all swollen, you know. Must be there's something, there's growth in there or something.
Maybe he may have had a tumor or something like that.
Could have been something like that.
Tumors can get awful big.
Yeah.
Swell up.
Yeah, just swollen. I know the last time he went to the doctor's office, the doctor said to him, well, when are you expecting like you're pregnant, you know, he's getting a joking way. But he didn't do anything about it. He didn't do anything for him. I guess he didn't think he could do anything for him, I guess.
That's possible.
Yeah. So I know when he passed away, we asked the doctor, you had to have a death certificate or something on his son. And he didn't say on the death certificate, he said heart fibrillation. You know, his heart, he always had that fibrillation on his heart. But he didn't suffer very much, you know. And he went so easy. I often think about it. He went so easy, it seemed like the Lord just took him.
What day was it that he died?
First day of May.
In what year?
Well, it was 4 years last May. That was in 79, was it? 78. This is 81. This is 82.
No, it was 84.
Oh, it was 82 then. He died.
He said 4 years ago?
4 years ago.
So it was 1980.
1980, yeah.
1980.
No, 4 years ago. It was this last May. He's been gone.
How did you feel after that? Can you talk about it?
Well, I just felt bad the thing that he was gone, but I couldn't wish him death.
Did you get depressed?
After this, when I come home, I knew I had to be alone. It was hard. And it was very hard for me to have to be here alone. Because I was up to leave this for a while, you know, stay up there for a while, but I wanted to be back in my own home.
How did you feel about Daddy coming in and taking your bed out and giving you a new bed?
Well, I didn't think much about it at the time, but I now, I wish he hadn't.
Why?
Because I like my old bed. And Lisa's got up to her house now, you know. And it's such a good bed. And I just love that. Because
Does that bed remind you of Tampa?
Yeah. I go up there and get in that bed. Sometimes I go to Lisa's bed, and I just lay and rest like nobody's business in my own bed. It's a good bed. But it's not my thing. It was kind of nice to know that that bed and Carl was sitting like him closer to me. You know.
But right after Temp died, I think Dad thought that it would be better for you.
Oh, he did.
Did you think it was better for you? Having a new
bed?
I
went along with what Benji wanted me to do. I didn't think much about it. Didn't think much about it. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was kind of in a trance. You go around kind of like a mummy, you know.
Did you have the same feelings when Cecil died?
It was hard, awfully hard to see when Cecil passed away. But I guess I'm funny. I feel like whatever happens is best. Lord knows better than I do what's best. And I just accept it. Now, I guess it's a good thing. I guess that's the reason why I've lived as long as I have, because I haven't done a lot of worrying and fussing around about things. You know, I just accept things as they come, take them as they come, and I don't think very much about them, just keep on living. I just pray every day that the Lord will help me not to complain, and I thank Him that He's done as well as I am. That's not to be thankful for. So
Pippa and you became, well, not wealthy, but you had raised yourself up monetarily, economically, a lot in the period of time that you lived together.
Well,
How did you do that?
we did it because we worked together. When he got a payday, we always put something away in the savings.
Even if you felt like, oh, how am I going to do it?
Yeah, but we always managed to save a little bit. And you know, Laura, it's wonderful that I get along as well as I do. You know, it's going to come on. He never made a lot of money. I tell where we made our money is by selling houses. We would build a house and we'd live in it for a while, and we'd see a chance to sell it, make all money on it, and then we'd sell it. And that's why we'd make money on it. Well, then we made that money. We could either buy another house. See, we bought several houses and sold them, and always made a good profit on them. And that's, so of course we sold that place in the valley. We made a big profit on that, you know. So every place that we sold, every house that we sold, we made a profit on it.
And then you just stock it in the bank?
Stock it in the bank, and then that's what I'm living on now. I'm living on interest, what we saved. I get a check on my interest every month.
And that's enough for you to live on now?
I have my Social Security, you know. Well, I have a lot of leave for the kids. So if I'm not sick a long time, if I'm sick a long time, why then it'll take a lot. If I have to go to the hospital, which I hope they never let me go to the hospital.
You're not a woman that likes to go to the hospital.
No.
You don't like doctors.
No.
Tell me about doctors. How come you have this feeling about doctors?
I think they're hindrance to you. They fill you full of medicine, and I don't believe in medicine. I don't take.
You don't take vitamins?
Don't take vitamins. No, don't take vitamins.
And you don't like medicine?
No.
But you do take it, though.
I take high blood pressure pill. That's what I take.
But you know that helps you. That's why.
So that keeps my blood pressure normal. If I didn't, I might have a stroke. So that's what causes strokes is high blood pressure. So I take one pill.
You better keep taking it.
I'm supposed to take one every day, but I skip a day. I go every other day. But I'm getting along fine enough. I don't take any more than I have to. I think that's the reason why I got along as well as I have. Don't you think so?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I had a good start from the time when I was home in my father and mother's home. We always had real good food, and we had lots of rest and
lots of rest. Oh yeah, getting up at what time in the morning?
Well, not very early. Not very early.
5 o'clock?
Maybe 5 o'clock.
That's not early.
Not very early.
And you'd go out and get the chicken.
Well, I never had to do that. The other girls would do that. Then you'd make breakfast. I'd help.
And change.
I would
kids, change the babies.
Yeah, I would help.
Yeah. Go around changing babies, cleaning them up, getting them all fixed.
You ought to hear my sister, my youngest sister. I was going with Carl at the time. She was she probably about 3 or 4 years old. And the mailbox was half a mile away down the road. So I had to go down and I would go down to see if I had a letter from Carl. He lived in Travis City then. And I'd put it on my hip and carry it down to that mailbox and back. And she always was a kid that every time she'd cry, she'd hold her breath. And I was scared this, she'd hold her breath and never could get it again. So when I go, I'd take a little wire along with her to throw in her face. So if she held her breath, I'd throw the water in her face, make her get her breath again.
That's going in the book. I love that.
One night, we went down to the corner, about half a mile away. People that we knew real well. There's a nice big old trees down there. We went down there spoon one night, and they just sit. And we had a dog named Carlo. And we got this Carlo down there, and here there was Huffine. The people named Huffine lives on far down there. It was their dog, and he got come after us. Nobody did it. He thought, sure, he's going to get us. And he thought it was our own dog, but it wasn't. Right? And we just about fought that dog because he thought, sure, he's going to eat us out. And we were down there spooning under those big trees.
What would you do, Nano?
Well, we just hug a little, kiss a little.
Kiss a little. You're turning red. You're blushing.
Oh, no, good old days. When you're loved, you do most everything, Well, I had a happy life, Laura.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't change my life. If I had it to do over again, I think I'd have done the same thing. Because I really have had a good life. I had a good husband, and he was good to me. He was good to the kids. Made a good living for me. What more could I ask for? He never was rich, but we always had enough to get along. And he left me, so I'm going to be very comfortable the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I have a long spell of sickness. And I hope, if I do get sick and I have to go, I hope they don't take me to the hospital. Carl begged us about taking him to the hospital. We didn't. The last time he was out in this room, he sat in that chair right there. I asked him if he wouldn't like go out and sit in the chair for a while. And I brought him out here, and he said, I said, I want to go back to my bed. And he said, that was the last time he was out.